it's Twisted Todd from Burn the Cynic, and we're just going to start a series of running through equipment, the gear run-throughs and everything, and going to get it started with me, which is kind of ironic because I'm probably the least technical of all the guys in the band. Just kind of run a very simple setup. Going to start out with the guitar that I use most of the time. It is a Carvin LB75, a very, very loud green neck-through machine, and it is just, and it is loud in more ways than in just the color, because this is seriously the loudest instrument I play. Matter of fact, when I plug this up, if I've played anything else before this, I have to dampen everything and just really drop the volume, because this thing pushes so much. I've never had an instrument push this much stuff, and it's just, it's absolutely incredible. I love it for live play. I just love it for play, period. It's just seriously the most awesome instrument I have owned to this date. Next up is my cabinet. It is a GK RBX 810 cab, 4 rows of two 10-inch speakers. So that's what we got going on there. The rack here, actually, interestingly enough, I actually bought the rack itself from Moon many, many years ago, because I'm actually looking at his rack right now, and let's just say it has evolved quite a ways. But it's hard to think that at one point he used to play through something this small, because him and Boogs both, they look like they could, they could work for NASA and launch rockets into space with their gear. But first up, plain and simple power conditioner, just basically a fancied up power strip. Just get that puppy turned on and powers up everything else, and followed by the Behringer rack tuner I've got here, which is pretty much self-explanatory. You turn that on, and it's what I use to tune up with. And what I love is the fact it has a light here, so whenever I'm setting up, if I need any light here, I don't have to turn on my phone or anything. I've got this going on, and I can kind of see what I'm doing as I get tuned up and get everything set up and turned on. I'm not really going to be using this right now. I don't really use it in the band room, but I use it a lot for playing live, especially if I have a stage to kind of run around on. And that, of course, is my wireless unit. It's Audio Technica. And usually, whereas this is plugged in right here, I'm going to take this out. That's why this little bad boy is just kind of hanging out here. We just plug it in right there. And I have my wireless pack on the back when I use it. Just get the two synced up, and we're off to the races. So not going to be using that right now, but just giving you a little demonstration on how that works. Gonna put this back, pop this back out, and plug this back in. Next up we have is my Sans amp. It's a Tech 21 PSA1 model. And long story short, I have never really been big on working with effects units. Cliff Burton's the reason I wanted to become a bass player, because I loved a lot of the sounds he could get, but years of playing around with sounds never could really get anything that worked for me, and to be completely honest, I gave up for many years. So shout out to Mike Jones from the Garage Studio, who recorded our first album, Spitting in the Face of Sanity. When he was recording my bass lines, he was playing some of it back for me, and I said, what is that you got on my bass? Because it sounds different. And he goes, I'm actually running your bass through a Sans amp. I was like, man, that is an amazing sound. And he told me the exact model to get, because it has all the right knobs and everything to turn. And he actually even sent me a screenshot of the exact layout he did, and I dialed it up just perfect. And matter of fact, that's what patch number 99 is. That's the Mike Jones special right there. I guess we can go and officially give it a name, because I have never, until him, ever got an effects sound that I really, really like to get out of my bass, and that is it dialed in right there, and I'm eternally grateful to Mike for that. And then last but not least, of course, is my bass head here. It's a Geigen Kruger. I'm a big GK guy, obviously, and it is a 700 RB. So that's about the gist of it. And when I was talking about dampening everything, right here is you'll have the negative 14 dB. I have to have that padded on to knock the edge off, because if I plug this thing up with that thing fully going, it will rupture it'll be like the beginning of Back to the Future. It's just that this machine is just that loud. So I've got that going right here. Of course, I'm turned on now, and I've actually, in my guitar, I have a little active passive switch. You just sit there and just simply pull it out. So whenever I'm, just playing around, I usually just use that, because with this thing in, it is just loud. So for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna drop that down to passive and just do a little something like that, because seriously, this thing pushes a lot of power. And so that's my setup for the most part. It's just fairly simple. I'm usually set up fairly early, so whenever we play live, I'm trying to help Ray get his drums put together. Mostly just handing him stuff, because I know next to nothing about drums. I know next to nothing about a lot, if we're being completely honest. I hear Moon and Boogs talk about their rigs, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, I play and I can change strings. That's about it for me. So, very, very simple. Just keep it simple, stupid sort of thing. And like I said, for years, never even played with an effects unit till Mike Jones truly dialed in a sound for me, and I am just. So there we go. That's my setup in a nutshell.
Rock and roll.